Hello humans and aliens. Today I'm working with an Off the Hook yarn. Hello Ruby. So I have 9 of these rolls of yarn and I'm gonna try and do the knit style sweater and see what I come out with. See if it's user friendly, all that fun stuff. So here we go.
Alright, so the idea here is to make a sweater out of these loops. I'm going to count in 5s until I get to 30 stitches, which would be the loops, I guess. I'm new to using these. I'm going to start with a 1x1 rib stitch. It's just going to be the purl. I guess it's just taking the loop through the front, and then the knit, which is coming from the back, then the purl, then the knit, and so forth, going all the way down the line. Alright, so all I'm gonna do here is just do 3 more rows of rib stitch, and then I'm gonna switch over to stockinette. Alright, so I've noticed with this yarn that it's very easy to add or subtract a stitch due to how the yarn curls in on itself. I've had to go back a few times, just backtracking my stitches to get back to that one extra stitch that I missed, and it's just kind of annoying. However, this kind of knitting, or I guess, I'm not sure what you'd call this, is much faster than traditional knitting. However, I normally use very small needles, so I guess this would be faster anyway because of the yarn size. Alright, so what I'm doing for this is casting off 7 on both sides. So I'm just taking off those ones, and then I'm left with 16 for the collar. Alright, I finished casting off 7 on both sides, so now I'm going to take that yarn and I'm going to start the collar, which is going to be a turtleneck. And now I've come to the end of the turtleneck, so now I need to cut the end. So we take this loop, kind of pull it apart a little bit until you can see the string connecting the loop. Then you cut that string, but not the string that is the loop. Now you have a little bit of a tail. Now you cut the tail. Then you pull it through your last remaining loop. Also, somehow, somewhere, I decreased a stitch and have 15 instead of 16. So that was a thing. And now a collage of progress pictures with a photobombing rabbit. Alright, so I finished the first half, and with the power of editing, I will have the second half. Woo, the power of editing! Yay. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew these halves together and make the sweater. So here's where I started to make the sleeve. I pulled the loops through the edging loops, and then later on I decided I hated it, so I took the whole sleeve out. But I spent work on this, so you get to watch a short montage of me doing this anyway. Alright, so I took out the sleeves, and now I'm going to do a border around the sleeve edges, so it'll be a bit better. So here's me starting the edge, then I go all the way through and realize, oh, this isn't the right size. So I had to take it all out, start over again, and then finally I finished it off. So here I am, awkwardly modeling my new sweater. Its structure is very blocky, but I really like it. It's very fluffy and comfy. I think it's very nice. And it only took 2 days to make. And I noticed afterwards that I accidentally wore this backwards, so ignore that. So exactly how many stitches is this sweater? So the front is 810 and the body would be 810 times 2, which is 1620, and then the neck is 210 stitches, and the extra would be 58 stitches, with a grand total of 1888 stitches. So what are the cons of the Off the Hook brand yarn? Well, something I've noticed when working with this yarn is it does not have any stretch whatsoever. If you need something that's stretchy, do not use this yarn. So what are the pros of the Off the Hook yarn? Well, it's easy to use, and in the beginning I was worried the stitches would just fall out of the other stitches when you were knitting, crocheting, or however you're doing with this. But it actually didn't, and I only had to use 6 rolls of yarn. And now I will check in with Ruby. She's just peacefully sleeping while I'm editing this video. Such a floppy bun.